Alrighty, first of all, I wanted to start off saying that chapter 4, Changing the Way We Talk to Children, has probably been my favorite chapter so far. I feel like it had a lot of really good information, and it was really good one to read and really just to learn about the different things. So this one we learn about children learn best through authentic interactions with adults and through meaningful experiences with the real world. So for example, addressing a letter to a family member, so they learned information but also learned how it is used and why it is important. So teaching children those type of things is a lot better than just having them memorize things. So we need to talk to children like they are adults and not babies. So in Head Start, I remember the teacher's aide this little girl came up to her and said that her stomach, well, she didn't say, she came up to her and was holding her stomach and was whining. And the teacher aide was like, "What's wrong?" And the little girl just kept whining. And she looked at her and said, "You're not a baby. You can talk to me. What is wrong with you? What is hurting you?" And the little girl was like, "My stomach." She's like, "Okay, thank you. Thank you for talking," because she was just whining. And she's like, "We're not getting anywhere. You need to talk to me." And she didn't talk to her like a baby and was like, "Oh, what's wrong, honey? Like, what's wrong? Like, tell me. But she was just like, "Okay, you're not a baby. So what's going on?" So this chapter really does talk about this a lot. So that was the most memorable thing that I had from Head Start that can do with this. So let's see, on page 83, the author said, "In normal human discourse in communication mode, it appears that people respond contingently to the stories of others. They share their feelings, ideas, and their experiences with little or no prompting. So this helps build the ongoing process of building a relationship, which is very important for an early childhood education teacher to have with all their children. The more they build that relationship with them, the more the children trust them, the more easier they're able to just have better conversations with them without feeling like they're being pressured by teacher to be assessed. They're more just going with the flow and just having better conversations with them throughout the rest of the time that they have them as a student." And then on page 84, I found this amazing quote that said, "Teachers and parents teach 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, whether they know it or not." And I mean, you don't really think about that, but it's true because those kids do put attention to your parents, obviously 24/7, but also do use what the teacher says in the class 24/7, even if they're not in the class. So also we talked about that we know that children's play is a big deal. It's very important. We talked about that a lot in earlier child education. We know that play is the place in the child's life in which he is the decision maker and the problem solver. On page 88, it says, "To the child, all of this is serious business. Knowing that the adults take it seriously like they do, they can communicate better in a more meaningful way." So during the play, or sometimes they call it choice time, the teacher must take maneuver who chooses what and where they can and what they do so they can all take turns, because sometimes there's going to be that one item that's more popular than the other, like a toy or computer or something like that. Most kids are going to want the one thing, so the teacher's got to be able to go back and forth. Okay, you did this, you did that, now you go here, and then you're next, type of thing. That way um they all get a chance. That the teacher has to take the role as the problem solver. She has to resolve conflicts and engage in drive-by interactions of one kid's here, one kid's here. Okay, I'm gonna have talk with this one, I'm gonna talk to this one, and just go like that around the room. Another good thing that I learned from this chapter is to use open-ended questions whenever you're talking to your children. This is used to provide opportunities for the child to think about their answer, express their ideas, and to be creative. And there's more, etc. But open-ended questions, I feel like throughout this book you see that a lot. Like the open-ended questions are gonna be a big deal whenever you're getting more and more into the field and once you get into your own classroom, because I feel like that's been used a lot in this book and just recently in our education classes. So I think that's a really big deal and something that is really needs to be focused on. So then towards the end of the chapter, we get to asking questions. And a few questions to ask when talking about the value of authentic communications are: what were the objectives? What is the assessment in this process? What did the child learn? And these are more likely to be achieved by teachers having no agenda, not the teachers that are going to go in and say, like, they give a really good example where it's like, "Okay, so what are you doing? Oh yeah, who's that? Why? Why is that?" Like, instead of just asking open-ended questions, the child was just answering one word because the teacher had an agenda and the child kind of sensed it or kind of wasn't feel like it was an authentic conversation. The child kind of basically knew that it was with a purpose and they weren't really responding because it wasn't like it wasn't just like an easy conversation, it was like a forced conversation. So it's good for them to just, the adult has to carry the conversation, obviously, but also have the child have the freedom to say what they want and something that'll interest them. So that was basically chapter 4. Thank you.